Well, hi there, food friends. It's Kevin, and welcome to Cavalcade of Food. And today, the episode, as you saw, are, the many fans of Cavalcade of Food. Now, some people like to say that Cavalcade doesn't have many fans, but I am here today to prove that wrong. Cavalcade has lots of fans, and I'm going to show you a few of them. Because, as it happens, I actually use a lot of fans in the Cavalcade, and to say I collect fans, maybe kind of, not in the same way I collect kitchen appliances, but I do have a number of fans that I have collected over the years, and I'm going to show you a sampling of them in today's video, because people have asked. I had mentioned when my friend Todd was here and helped with the stove exchange that he had brought a fan of my dreams as a gift, and I was over the moon, and I still am. And a couple people said, so are we going to get to see this fan? Yes, you will, and a few others. Starting with this big boy here in the corner. And this episode really goes out to these wonderful people that I have met and who have become friends through the fan collecting world. And Todd, Ray, Stephen, these guys are just wonderful and so full of knowledge when it comes to fans. And so this is for them and their wonderful collecting community that has adopted Cavalcade of Food a little bit into their world. So here's a fan in the corner, rather large. This is on a pedestal, as you can see. And it is, the brand of fan is called a Freshened Air. Don't you love that? And look how it's spelled. Freshened Air, Chicago, Illinois. I've also come to learn, by the way, that Chicago was like the fan capital of the United States. And I'll, Ray and Todd, tell me if I'm misspeaking here. But there were a number of electric fan manufacturers in Chicago. There still may be, I don't know. But anyways, and Chicago put out a lot of fans in the United States at one time. But the interesting thing about this is, one, I love the grill. By the way, none of these fans are really child-proof. We got a lot of finger slicers in the collection, as I like to call them. But this fan, this Freshened Air, if you look at the blades, unlike a lot of other big fans of its time, these blades are actually, I don't know, they're either some kind of plastic or a hard rubber blade. But I'm not saying they wouldn't hurt, but I don't know that they would necessarily dismember you. And I'm going to turn it on here so you can see it. It has multiple speeds. It's actually relatively quiet for a fan of its size, and it moves a lot of air. And this does regular duty here at the Cavalcade during the summertime, because my floors are made out of wood here, and there's always humidity, typical Michigan summer, and keeping the air moving kind of helps with keeping the humidity down. Now we're on low speed, and then we'll do one more click. It's got like a little pull chain switch in the back, and that takes it to off. So that's the Freshened Air, and that does help keep things fresh. We'll go to the library, and I'll show you another fan. So here in the cookbook library, here's a fan I often have on when I'm working, and that is this big 16-inch Westinghouse fan. Again, it has a fairly open grill, so no little fingers in there. It has a wonderful, very heavy pedestal, and this fan is pretty iconic. These were fairly popular, and I will ask Ray or one of the fan guys to chime in about the blades. They're not metal. They are some kind of plastic, and I know there's a name for them, and I just don't remember what that name is off the top of my head. But it's got a switch on the back, and let's see, we'll turn it on here. There we go. It is also fairly quiet. To those fan people out there, I do go through every year and give them oil. So they each get a couple of drops of good lightweight oil in all of their little oil spots. But I love this fan. It also oscillates. I don't have it on oscillating right now because where I have it, there's really no room for the cage to swing back and forth. But that's the beautiful Westinghouse. It probably has a model number. Again, I'm going to let the fan guys help me with this video in identifying. This is where I don't really feel like a fan collector, because this is information I should know if I was, and I don't know it. So, okay, we'll take a walk. I do have fans on. I have ceiling fans in here, which I use throughout the year. You can see one of them there, one of them here. They are, where are you? Hold on, this camera is going crazy. There it is. These are especially helpful in the winter months. When the furnace is on, it really does help pull that warm air off the upper level of the room and into, and help distribute it. So we're in the typewriter room, by the way. And here I've got a fan. And this is also a fairly iconic fan, but I just take a look at this design. Isn't that beautiful? Again, Westinghouse. They really had great designers. And this very modern deco, however you might want to describe it, sort of shape, the barrel of this fan. And you can see it is a fan that is built to be on a stand, which is adjustable. So you see the little collar there, you can loosen it up, and you can actually, it's fairly low right now, but if I wanted to, I could raise the fan to make it taller. And I've seen a lot of these over the years in various conditions, so I think they were fairly popular. In different colors, of course, this turquoise one is just wonderful. But I've seen them in like a tan color. I've seen them in black. And they have various center caps. And I think that helps identify. When I say this is probably early 50s, again, fan guys help me out with this. This is a Mobile Air, M-O-B-I-L-A-I-R-E, Mobile Air Westinghouse fan. And I'm going to turn it on. Let's see, it's 2-speed, high and low. I'm going to put it on low just because I'm worried about the wind blowing into the microphone here and maybe causing some interference. But oh, does that thing throw out the air? And, you know, raise your hand if you grew up with electric fans in the house. I mean, I know people would just die now if they didn't have air conditioning, right? I mean, how could we live for a minute without air conditioning? But there are some of us who did and didn't think anything of it. And, you know, we would go to the movies for air conditioning or to the department store or wherever because it was air conditioned to give ourselves a little break. But at home, no, there's no air conditioning. But we had fans and we had that air moving around. And, you know, maybe we were just blowing hot air around or whatever, but there was something about the breeze created by these fans that really did help us feel like things were cooler. And these fans could certainly be used to move air around the house or, in some cases, out of the house. Okay. We're going to go to the range room now. Are you all bearing with me here as where I've got a fan, and here's another, basically a box fan that is on a stand. And you could buy a fan stand separately at the store. And you could obviously buy a box fan, and some of them came together. But the box fans were easily mountable on a stand. They often had these holes in the side walls of the box fan that you'd use to screw it onto the posts of the stand. So this is a Dominion fan. And I don't think it's in its original color. It is avocado green, and it was, I'm sure, painted avocado green at a time when avocado green was probably the color of all the other appliances that this person had in their house. But I see, you know, it's got a few scrapes and scuffs, and I see some under the paint there. You see that? And it's kind of that cool blue turquoise underneath. So I believe that was probably the original color. Again, fan guys help me out. I don't remember where Dominion was made, and I don't think these came in avocado green, but I've got this is a 2-speed, high and low. Often these fans were 3-speed, high, medium, and low, but you know what? It's pretty quiet. And by the way, these fans are really surprisingly energy efficient. They don't really, unlike air conditioning, which can be costly to run, especially if you have an older system, as I do here, so I don't run it frequently. But the fans really cost just pennies to run with these electric motors. And so that's the Dominion. So I'm back in the studio kitchen. I think you'll recognize it. Bit of a bird's eye view, but I wanted to get up here because on top of the cabinets over the stove, some of you have noticed this fan, and sometimes it's running and sometimes it's not. It depends on what kind of work I'm doing in the kitchen and how hot it is. But this, because if I'm doing something that's creating a little bit of, say, smoke or whatever, I might turn this fan on, or on the occasion that I burn something. But this fan up here on top of the cabinet is a General Electric. You can see it says GE on it. It's an oscillating fan. It's on its own stand. These, again, were fairly popular fans. I've seen many of them over the years. I have seen them in turquoise. This is a gray one. I have seen them in tan. I don't know how many other colors they came in, but I'll bet you our fan collectors know. And GE made these fans for I don't know how long, but they made a lot of them because I've seen a lot of them out in the wild. And it's a nice little fan. It's quiet, and it does a fairly good job in moving the air above the stove, because I don't have, people often comment about this light fixture above the stove, and it is just a light fixture. I don't have an exhaust above the stove. There was no way to put one in, just given the layout here and where we are, but I do use a series of fans to pull air out of the kitchen, and I'll show you, this is one of them, and I'll show you my other one in a minute. So here is a fan that I have here in an area where I do a lot of work. I do a lot of music recording in this part of the building for my radio show, and which, if you're not listening, maybe you should be. Here's the address where you can go online and listen live, sanilacbroadcasting.com, and then click on Listen Live and select the WMIC live stream. And the Cavalcade Radio Hour is on the air every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So the shows are not archived, but you can listen live if you are so inclined. And it's a fun mix of music from the Cavalcade Music Library here. And every week there is a Cavalcade spotlight on an artist, songwriter, genre of music, an instrument perhaps, and all kinds of other fun stuff. But all that to say that this fan, which is a Pencrest 300, is one that I keep up here and use to move air from the kitchen, because there's these louvers which are just through those louvers is the kitchen. And this actually used to be the manager's office of the Ben Franklin, and of course they could see the whole sales floor from this point, which was sort of cool. But I think this is a Lakewood fan. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, fan guys tell me. But it has the controls at the top, which I'll try to show here, because you can see the red button is for off. It brings air in or can take air out. So often people would put these fans in front of a window, and it would draw the hot air out of the house and blow it outside. This is a really powerful fan, and I almost always don't go past low because it isn't necessary. Again, I don't know how it's going to sound on the microphone. It's fairly quiet. I don't have it on when I'm recording things, obviously, but I certainly use it a lot, and it does a nice job in terms of pulling air away from the kitchen area. Here's just a few examples of tabletop fans. Some people call them desk fans. And these, of course, I mean, they still make this stuff, certainly not this beautiful and not of this quality, but these are a sampling of a few. Over the years, I've done a couple of big windows, display windows with fans, and that would give you a sense of more. Again, this is just a sampling, but this is this little Westinghouse. It's got plastic blades, and this was a gift from my friend Ray, who is a fan collector extraordinaire, and this guy knows more about fans than, I mean, just it's amazing. Anyways, thank you, Ray. I use this all the time in my office, and it's a quiet little fan, and it just moves a lot of air around. Again, another wonderful example of the Westinghouse design. This one is called a Sterling. It's got a little, identifier there. Again, another made by Chicago Electric Manufacturing Company. So another Chicago connection here with this Sterling. Afraid I don't know too much about it. I don't know where I got it. I've had it a long time. It's kind of, this one does make a little bit of a racket, but it's a cute fan. I always like the cage on it. Then this one with the shiny metal blades, this I think really is a finger slicer. This is a Wizard Imperial. Now Wizard was the house brand of Western Auto, and there was a Western Auto store here in Croswell, matter of fact, just half a block down. And what I love about this one is this one still has the where is it? Still has the sticker on the top, Gold Crest value, and attached to the cord is still the user's manual. So I don't think this one got a whole lot of use. And I'm not sure who made it, but I'll bet you somebody knows. Fan guys. Then we come over here to probably one of the most iconic fans around. Many iterations of this fan. I think on this particular one I have my friend Todd to thank, because Todd and I both have a love for all things Kresge Kmart, because both of us grew up just a stone's throw from the very first Kmart store, which opened in 1962 in Garden City, Michigan, a western suburb of Detroit, and that was our Kmart store. But anyways, well, I think there was another one. No, I take that back, Todd. That's right. You went to the one on Cherry Hill and Wayne Road. That was more your Kmart store. But anyways, we were in Kmart country. Let's just say that. And these are fans that were made by the Lakewood Fan Company for Kmart for years. And there, you can see there's the Kmart 3-speed. This one has metal blades. Some of the later ones have plastic blades that are white. But look at that. It's that Kmart Kresge blue. And of course, Kresge Kmart was a Detroit company, and so there's always a lot of love in this area for things Kmart related. And anyways, it's a great fan. Great fan. Still use it. So here are a couple examples of, again, I don't have a lot of these, but these are what we call Hasic fans. And these sit on the floor. And they actually have a fan in the center, and it pulls air up from the floor, and you can see it sort of has a cone-shaped deflector there, and splays the air out into all directions in the room. These were really popular for a long time, and I don't know, I haven't seen one in years. I don't know if they still make these or not, if anybody knows. Or maybe you or your family had a Hasic fan. But, you know, I think the idea is that the closer to the floor, the cooler the air. So it pulls the air up from the floor, and it pushes it up towards the ceiling. So this Lasco fan, which I believe Lasco is still in business, still has, where is it? Look at that. Still has a price tag on it from Gamble's department store, $39.95. So, not sure when this fan was made, but $40. It wasn't cheap. So, I just think that's really cool that it still has the price tag on it. Over here, this is a Canrad Hanovia Incorporated 2-speed Hasic fan. And it's smaller, and it's much lighter weight. It's the body is largely plastic, where this has a lot of metal on it. But Anyways, I've never heard of that brand before, so maybe somebody can enlighten me. And you know, I love fans of all kind, but I really love box fans. And here's one in particular that is a favorite. And I often have this at home, actually, in the living room. And this is a Country Air. Again, thank you, Todd. Look at the grill on this baby. Isn't that beautiful? And I know I have seen other box fans with similarly styled sort of grills that sort of this radiate from the center like that, rather than just the grid that you see on most fans. But I love this Country Air. And again, this one has control. This is a deluxe model, so it has controls at the top, and it will exhaust, or it will blow in or blow out, depending on how you want to set it. It has a thermo control. A lot of these fans had this. To me, I think it was kind of a gimmick. I don't think it really does anything. But it's a way to set the fan so that it will go off and on its own based on the temperature of the space. So let me turn this thing on. We can demonstrate. So here it is. Again, I don't know what it sounds like on the microphone. This is a quiet fan, just purrs, and it throws a lot of air. Okay, so what we're going to do is we will move this thermostat control. There, see that light went on? So basically what it will do is, if whatever temperature it's detected right now, basically here in the room, if that increases, it will kick on the fan and it will turn it back to regular power so that it's not continuously running in case it gets cooler. Like I said, it doesn't really, I don't think, work the way it sounds good, but to me it was just sort of a gimmick. I never found it really, maybe I'm doing something wrong. But anyways, that is the Country Air, again, made by Lakewood in Chicago, Illinois. And now we get to the main attraction, the piece de resistance. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the fan that Todd gave me when he came to help Ralph and I move that 1954 Westinghouse range back there into the studio kitchen. And this, my friends, is a LAU Ultra 20 fan. And when I first met Todd and Ray and Steve, the fan guys, as I call them, we were talking about fans, of course, and I said, you know what, I have this fan fantasy, a fan that I loved from my past. And do you ever remember things and they were so long ago, they almost, you don't know if it was a dream or if it was real because it was just so many years ago? So I had a wonderful aunt. She was actually my great aunt. She was my grandmother's sister. My Aunt Jo, J-O, short for Josephine, but everyone called her Aunt Jo. And Aunt Jo was just a joy, and she was a retired teacher, and she just always was on the go, and she loved us kids, all of us. And she always had treats for us. Her trunk was always filled with little snacks and packs of Wrigley's Juicy Fruit gum and all kinds of wonderful things that she had for us. Anyways, all that to say is that Aunt Jo was a widow, and she lived about 15 miles away from us, and we would sometimes in the summertime go and stay a weekend with her. And I think my parents loved it because they sort of, had a chance to have a weekend without the kids. But anyways, one of the many things I remember about being at Aunt Joe's, and it was always during the summertime, and she had a big old brick bungalow, and of course no air conditioning. Matter of fact, she had radiators, so she had steam heat in that house, but she had a fan. And I was telling the fan guys, I said, I don't remember what kind it was, although I used to pay close attention to the stuff like that, but I just couldn't remember. But I said, I thought it looked like a TV set because it had like the knobs were on the right-hand side like they would be on a television set. And to me, it just looked like a big TV, but it was a fan. And she always had it up against the window and was either pulling air out of the house or pulling air into the house. And it was on constantly. And when we were kids, of course, all the bedrooms were upstairs in this home, and you could hear it, just a slight, the murmur of this fan going, and it just lulled you to sleep. And I also remember that it had a light. It had a red light that would come on, and you could see it at nighttime. If you went downstairs, you could see it glowing. And that's all I could remember about it. They knew what fan I was talking about, and I said, I've been looking for one. I mean, you know, I'm talking about something that I remember from over 50 years ago, and I said, I've never seen one anywhere. And believe me, I've looked and I've been around. So anyways, you can't imagine my surprise and joy when Todd walks in with this thing, because this is the fan. This is the fan from Aunt Joe. And so thank you, Todd. This has been either at home or here with me ever since you brought it. I love this thing, and I'm going to show everybody a little bit of how this is set up. So that thing at the top says safety eye. I don't know what it is actually supposed to do. It's really a pilot light that glows, and that was the light that I remembered seeing whenever the fan is on. Then you have a speed control, high, medium, low. Then you have the temperature control, just like I was showing you on that other box fan, where it's got this sort of thermostat kind of a thing. And then here is the reverse control. You can have it blow air in or blow air out. So let's just turn this thing on. And I know it's sort of bright because of the lights, but you can see that glow. There it is. There's the glow. And there's the fan as it's coming up to speed. And you just hear that sound. And you know what? It's just something that transports me back to those summer nights with my brothers and sisters hanging out with our Aunt Joe at her house. Just wonderful. Anyways, this is why I always say, you know, again, the greatest thing about collecting, bar none, I mean, just the greatest thing is the people that you meet along your collecting journey. And so thank you again, Todd and Ray, Steve, and if you collect electric fans, or you love electric fans, or you have memories of electric fans, please share them in the comments. That's what it's all about, folks. So to my fans watching, thank you for meeting some of the other fans who help keep things cool around here at the old Cavalcade. I will invite you to the website, which is cavalcadeoffood.com. There you can connect to my radio program, to my other YouTube channel, Always Analog, and I appreciate you watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon back